What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 213 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Solozo. And today we're going to be talking, it's sort of like our Amazon seller journeys that we bring on a lot, but we got an absolute great guest. We're going to be talking about working in corporate America to launching an Amazon FBA business to now coaching and helping others succeed in e-commerce. Always fun. We love these conversations. It's always nice to hear stories of others. It's inspiring seeing what they're able to do, figure out what you can do for yourself to make more money, to make a income where you can support your family and do it on your own terms. So joining us today to talk all about this is Coach Eric Neal from Elite Commerce Coaching. What's up, Eric? How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you guys doing?
We are great. We are excited to talk to you. There's always a nice perspective from somebody who's gone through the journey themselves and then gets to see that journey with other people that you're helping. So we can't wait to talk all about that with you and just some of the tips and tactics and strategies that you're helping coach people to launch successful e-commerce businesses. But before we jump into all that, we really want, there's people listening who may not know you, not have seen some of the content you're putting out, but we'd love to give you a chance just to introduce yourself, a little background on you, what you were doing, what was your corporate life like, and then what caused that transition to FBA, and just you got the floor for a while. We'd love to hear your journey.
Gotcha. Well, I am Eric Neal. I am originally from Orlando, Florida. Go Bucks.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
I was going to do it.
Watch out. The ride's over.
All right, Eric. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Yeah. So being from Orlando, Florida, our family relocated here. And of course, like I said, my dog is going crazy now because here you guys.
All good.
But being from Orlando, Florida, my parents relocated us to the metro Atlanta area, in which I ended up going to Georgia Southern University. I played football there. And like what most Americans do, we go to school to get an education so that we can, in hopes, get a good job and, work some 30 to 40 years and retire on about half of what we made on our best working years. Me, I was doing that and started working through a little small company by the name of AT&T. Some of you may have heard it. And was working my way up the corporate ladder. And I was in a department called the Signature Client Group. Hold on. He's really going crazy. You mind if I just put him out for one moment?
Go ahead.
Go for it. No, that's
Give me one moment.
Chris, what's your chat?
What's your chat?
Yeah, we understand. It must be the UPS truck coming to drop off.
Yeah, UPS, sure. So we got a little dog coming in here and barking around.
That's what happens at your house all the time, Chris. You get UPS.
Yeah, but it's about 1 o'clock Central. I got to keep my eye out of this window because you never know. There could be somebody popping in here. Yeah, I got to be ready for it. I got to be ready for that mute button real quick because you never know. Someone could show up. Yeah. But this is going to be good. I'm excited to hear a story. He started, I'm just kind of reading his bio. He'll probably touch on this when he gets back, but, working in corporate America, he found e-commerce, got into it. Sounds like he was able to leave, and we'll find out more. And now he's coaching others, which is going to be really cool. This is something that you and I like doing on a regular basis when we talk to sellers that book demos with us. We love giving them tips and stuff. So this will all be good. Eric, welcome back, man.
Okay, I'm so sorry, guys.
That's no worries.
All right. Okay, so so started working for AT&T, and I was in a group called a Signature Client Group. And what we did was I was a liaison between major accounts and AT&T. So some of my accounts that I was over was Turner Broadcasting, Time Warner, Northrop Grumman, who does the military weapons, AutoNation, and Royal Caribbean. And I was literally bringing AT&T billions of dollars. And it sounds good on paper, but the truth of the matter was I wasn't making 1% of that. Matter of fact, myself and a buddy of mine, we did the math one day, and just through Turner Broadcasting, which at that time, they were about a $750 million a year revenue to AT&T. I was making 0.0000000 like 72%. I was making like right at $72,000 a year and basically getting paid chump change. So I decided that, you know what, this is great, you know, being able to, you know, work for a major company. But however, my family and I, we were still living paycheck to paycheck. Now, if I was single, you know, making some $72,000 a year would be fine. But we are a household of 7. Me and my wife, we have 5 kids. And if you saw my wife, you'll know why we have 5 kids. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, so we were living paycheck to paycheck. And then I decided, you know, to step out and into the entrepreneurial journey, in which I first started doing some real estate investing. And that led me into the coaching arena, to where I had different people that would contract me out to go and travel and help train their students how to, you know, do real estate investing. Years later, and this was about 2016, so almost about 6 years later from where we are. I'm sorry, 6 years earlier from where we are now. I discovered selling on Amazon. I had no idea that people even sold on Amazon. I just thought, well, if you get anything from Amazon, it's because it's coming directly from Amazon and they're a major company. Not knowing that about 70 to 80% of all of the sales that happen on Amazon happen from third-party sellers like myself. So I did have formal training in which this company, they no longer exist anymore. But from there, I was able to launch my store. And after launching my store, I was almost instantly successful. And people, you know, they began to reach out to me and was like, hey, you know, how are you, you know, making money selling on Amazon? And I started coaching people. And little did I know, I was good at coaching, to where now people were able to go out and start making money themselves and were able to leave their corporate jobs and now live the life that they want. So here we are now in 2022, and I've now trained a little over 100 students, you know, one-on-one trainings, and about, I want to say, and I've counted it up, I think it's around 33 or 34 of them have actually done over 6 figures selling on Amazon. And one in particular has actually done 7 figures selling on Amazon. So yeah, and here's where we are now.
It's amazing. That's got to feel great. Any of them, I'm assuming the $1 million seller quit their day job.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they completely left their day job. And this is all they do full time now.
That's amazing. I'm telling you, that does have to feel really, really good. Are you still selling yourself on Amazon?
Oh,
you still running
absolutely. Your brand? Yes, I would be a fool not to sell. And that's the crazy thing, because what I learned is, even after going out and traveling with other companies, because I did have some companies contract me out to help train their Amazon students. I discovered that a lot of the people who were out speaking, they were not even doing the business. And I'm like, well, how can you even teach this stuff if you're not even doing it? So that was one of the main things that I made sure that I was doing, which is constantly selling on Amazon. I mean, I make consistently over 6 figures a year just off of my Amazon store. And I get it. We're talking about Amazon now, but also I sell on Walmart Marketplace. And now I'm, you know, making money from Walmart Marketplace as well through e-commerce sales.
Yeah, I like that. You have to be in the game, because it changes so quick. What Amazon was 2 years ago is completely different what it is now.
Correct.
Talk about the I always like to hear these first like stories, like you first start. Talk about like the first product where you got it in, you sourced it, you launched it, you know, all that those feelings that come when you decide you're going to go do this, and you list a product and you go for it.
Yeah. So my first product that I sold was the Ring 2 doorbell, and which, of course, you know, is in almost every household right now. Now, since then, Amazon has purchased Ring, and now nobody else can sell it. But that was my very first product, and I had an initial investment for, I think it was right at $5,200, and I was receiving about a 73% return on that. Whenever I got it into my store, I mean, I sold out within a day or two of it, you know, going into FBA, and then it becoming live, and then boom, it was out of my store. So that was my very first product, in which I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I kind of hit a grand slam on my first product, which most people don't do that. But some people, yeah, they might have, you know, the onesies and the twosies, but this one was a grand slam for me through the Ring 2 doorbell. Now, it was recommended to me because I did have a mentor that was kind of directing me into, okay, this is what you want to look for. This is how you determine if something is selling well. This is also something that is in high demand and, you know, has very limited returns on it. So once I, you know, put all of those things into play, I did discover the Ring 2 doorbell, sourced it, got it sent directly in the FBA, and boom, I was able to, you know, make instant money from that.
Were you able to get that at Wholesale?
Yes, I was actually able to get it at Wholesale.
So how did that work? Just because I know we have a lot of people that are in the Wholesale model listening to us. How were you able to get that contract with them?
So the main way was through trade shows. I go to a lot of trade shows, mainly the ASD trade show that takes place in Las Vegas. There are a few other trade shows that I was going to in Dallas, Chicago, Orlando, and just meeting the suppliers and the different distributors and some manufacturers and getting connected from there. You know, having them see my face, letting them understand, hey, this is what I'm doing on Amazon. This is how much money I have to work with. And then boom, you know, instantly getting that connection. Now, most wholesalers just want to know, okay, do you actually have the money to, you know, purchase big in bulk? The good news was I was part of a network of other sellers to where we were able to buy a lot of the Ring 2 doorbells in bulk. So that was the only reason why they were willing to sell to me and a few others. Because if I was just one of them, was like, hey, I only got $5,000, they probably wouldn't have sold me anything. But because we were able to come to the table with about 30 to 40 grand, we were able to, you know, get that product and get it going. Now, again, that's just for that one product, in which I've only done that once. Every other product that I have received on the wholesale level has just been through, you know, direct contact, in which a lot of them have like a minimum order amount of like $500, which most people, you know, they can, you know, get $500 to place an initial order.
I want to figure out. Sorry, Dustin.
You go ahead. Go.
Talk about how you got into this again. How did you find, like Dustin and I, you know, YouTube, Google, looked up how to make money online, boom, went through it, and then just kept going with it. What was that little seed that was planted in your head to like, I'm gonna jump into Amazon and do this?
So I had a buddy of mine, a good friend who also went to Georgia Southern I played football with, and he had started selling on Amazon. And he sent me a random message. I just happened to be in Chicago at the time. I'll never forget it, doing a real estate training. And he was like, hey, man, I just made like $500, you know, within the first few hours of the day. It was like 10 o'clock. I was like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. But then that evening, he texted me again, and that $500 turned into $2,400. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so what are you doing? Like, what do you mean you're selling on Amazon? Like, how are you even able to sell on Amazon? And then from there, it was through him, he pretty much gave me that appetite to want to learn how this all works. And then from there, you know, I did, like I said, the formal training, and boom, the rest is history.
Was he the formal training, or did he put you in touch with a mentor?
He put me in touch with a mentor.
And
he
still
also mentored me as well. But yes, he put me in touch with a mentor.
And does he still sell?
You know what? He does not, to my knowledge, sell anymore. And that's only because, not because obviously Amazon doesn't work. Well, we all know it works. He started doing other business related things. I don't know if you guys ever heard of NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. A lot of people know Tony Robbins and the stuff that he does from stage to help people overcome limiting beliefs, limiting decisions, and negative emotions and traumas. It comes from a scientific study called NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. He ended up launching his own NLP training company, and that's what he's pretty much doing full time now versus now selling on Amazon. Now, I will say this, when he was selling on Amazon, I know like his first 2 years, he made well over $500,000. He ended up getting a private label through, oh, matter of fact, you might know this because you guys are in Missouri. So the energy drink, and I don't know if it's still the same, but for the St. Louis Cardinals was called Defiance Fuel. He ended up being able to be the only authorized seller to sell Defiance Fuel on Amazon. So yeah, and he was killing it. I remember like his first 2 weeks, he ended up selling, I think something over like $16,000 in sales. His first 2 weeks just launching Defiance Fuel on Amazon. So
it's like the holy grail of wholesale right there. If you get the Amazon exclusive, that's amazing. All right, so are you still primarily focused on wholesale, or have you launched private label as well?
So I have launched a few private labels. Yes, I focus on wholesale, but when the pandemic hit, I had to focus a little bit more on retail arbitrage. And that's only because a lot of wholesalers, as we know, they were not able to, ship out any products. So I was forced to go directly into stores like Walmart, Target. I don't know if you guys have BJ's and Costco and Sam's there, but going into those stores, buying the products directly from the stores and then shipping it to the customer. Right now, that's about over 50% of my business, just getting stuff and shipping it directly to the customer through retail arbitrage, in which I get a lot of people don't want to do that. But retail arbitrage, I've discovered that I end up making about twice as much shipping it directly to the customer than, buying it wholesale and sending it to Amazon and having to pay some FBA fees, even though, like I said, I do a combination of both.
We could really go down this.
This could be good.
Yeah. I've been doing, so we started off private label, both Chris and I, we have our own businesses. But recently I've gotten into online arbitrage. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm buying in bulk, having it shipped to my house, and I'm actually sending it in FBA, just for makes it easier. You definitely takes away some of the ROI, but it makes it a lot easier. But I found it to be amazing. There's so many strategies, and there's so many products that are underserved on Amazon. You can find them in brick and mortar, and those brands aren't really actively pursuing the Amazon channel, and there's lots and lots of opportunity, especially if you find clearance deals and closeouts and all these other things that you can do. But it's amazing. There is a never-ending, endless supply of opportunities there, and I'm sure you're finding the same thing.
Yes, and oh yes again.
So your coaching and training, is it primarily on the wholesale arbitrage type method, or do you coach also on creating private label?
So I do all of the above. What I've discovered is the majority of people, they want to start off doing retail arbitrage because that is something where they can make their money almost instantly and grow their way into wholesaling. And yes, I have also, trained people with the private label, but for the majority of people, that's the end game, which is private label. It sounds like with you guys, like you started with private label, which, like, by the way, that's phenomenal. That's awesome. But what I've saw with most people, that's the end game because they may not have, the funds or the expertise to know how to get a private label or to support a private label once it is actually launched.
Yeah. Well, I guess I should clarify. And Chris is the exact same. And we tell people this all the time. If you're interested in this business, I did retail arbitrage for a few months.
Okay, cool.
To get started. It got me some capital, but way more than the capital part. You get tons and tons of experience, and you're doing it at a super low risk level. Like, the worst thing that can happen is you liquidate, a couple products for, what you bought them for at cost.
Correct.
It's like, and you can go to the store and get something for $10. If $10 is what you got to start with, you can double it, turn it into 20, turn 20 into 40 into 80. It just keeps going. So I think that is how everybody should start. I think if you have a huge war chest of capital and you're getting ready to launch private label, you should still do something to test the waters and learn the space for
I
sure.
agree. Completely.
The other day, like a clearance rack, I'm like a moth to a flame to that thing. Like if I see something on clearance, I'll head over there just because we talk about it like scanning items. You just never know.
Yeah.
And everything was $5. And I pick up this pizza stone. My wife's like, "What are you gonna do with the pizza stone?" I'm like, "Let me see how much this thing sells for real quick." So I just scan it, $40. I'm like, "Okay, we're buying this for $5. We're taking it home," because it just you can just turn and burn it and make more money. And I think once you get started, or if you're looking to get in this business, just learn the process, right? Like learn how to ship in inventory, learn how to get a listing created, learn how to ship product to a customer. Just get the basics down, and then you could take those funds. And I like the wholesale method because you're actually kind of doing like product research when you really may not even know it. Like you're testing out all these products. Let's say you sell I'm just going to use Ring doorbell because that's what you use. But let's say you do a video doorbell. Maybe and this is not going to happen, but I'm just giving an example. Maybe you go to Ring and say, "Hey, Ring, I want to do my own doorbell with my own brand. Let's I'll invest in it." And now you got like a similar product, but you already know it sells. You don't have to do all the product research and whatnot. So.
Correct.
Yeah, the wholesale is tough, but it can lead to really good income.
Absolutely.
And the thing you see is, I mean, a lot of times, like the really big wholesale sellers, I mean, they're the ones with the highest revenue numbers on Amazon in terms of sellers. A lot of private label companies get very, very big too, but the way you can scale a wholesale business is unlimited. I mean, it's just a matter of how many contracts can you have with suppliers and distributors. It can just keep growing. So do you do everything at your house? Do you have a warehouse? Do you have employee? I mean, if you're FBM doing your orders, all FBM, there's not a lack of labor involved in that.
Oh yes. So I'm chuckling because the majority of it I do at my house, and that has been the majority of the fights that I've had with my wife because I have taken up a lot of our garage space. I also have my own space in the basement that I store some of the products. Now, the good news is a lot of the products that I get, it's in and out in about, a day or two. So that's the excellent part. But there are some times where it has to be stored. So yes, I do it that way. But if it's something that's selling like super duper fast and it's selling frequently, I'm going to send it directly to FBA so that it can be stored at Amazon's fulfillment center. But yes, I do a lot of stuff right here in my home.
Your 5 kids, are they involved in it?
Well, 3 of the 5 are. Now, the oldest 2 are girls, in which my eldest daughter, she used to do it, but then she's like, I'm tired of doing this. I'm going to do something. Literally, she was like, I'm going to do makeup. And now she's a makeup artist and does, cosmetology type stuff. But my youngest 3 sons, in which they are 15, 13, and 10, yes, they are the ones when they're not doing sports. I pay them to help me fulfill orders, in which they love it. They like the business when I'm just in stores, just getting groceries. Be like, Dad, scan this, see how this is selling, and type of ordeal. So they have really taken ownership so that they can learn this business also. Because what they have saw with me is because they see me come from corporate to being a complete entrepreneur with me and my wife, and from the lifestyle that we had before to where we are now. And they're like, this is what I want. I don't want to go and work for somebody else. I want to do what Dad is doing. So that kind of, hits home more than anything because they're hungry to want to know the exact same thing that I am doing as well.
I don't have any kids, and that gave me chills. Just like thinking about it. But doing that, like you're building something bigger than just Amazon. Like I have a feeling this is not going to be the end of, or the most thing you're going to do. I feel like there's going to be other things coming, and this is just going to be a piece of puzzle of what Coach Eric Neal has been doing. We talked a lot about the ups and things that you've been doing. Give me some bad stories. Give me some things where you've been burned a couple times, because we've all been there, right? We've all been in that trenches, and it's like you got to to come to Jesus talk, right? Like you got to figure it out. So Give me some of the downs.
All right, let's see how much time we got. Let me just tell you some of the top worst stories. So one time, and my wife don't know this, so let me talk low. She would be super mad if she ever finds this out. So there was one time to where I had a $4,200 investment, and I didn't realize, okay, you don't send money through Western Union, Yeah. And I got burned, and the people disappeared on me because I didn't know, okay, you don't send money through Western Union to get any type of product. I later discovered, okay, do a wire transfer, PayPal, do my thorough research to make sure that the company is legit. If they have a home office, go on Google Maps to make sure it's not somebody's apartment address, some of those small things. So that was one. Another thing was shipping out the wrong thing, doing it merchant fulfill, and having a customer leave you a negative review. That's happened a few times, especially, if you're going to get your kids involved. And I had to learn this through my children because, hey, they're children. They're going to make mistakes. There were a few times where they shipped out the wrong thing. And I was very apologetic to some of the customers, but some of them are like, no, I needed this by this date, and you screwed up my plans. So I not only want my money back, but I'm also going to leave you a negative review, which impacts, your selling privileges on your account. So that was some of the main things that happened. Oh, here's one that was huge, especially before the pandemic, getting my account shut down. I had my account shut down, I want to say 3 different times. The first time my account was shut down was because of the Ring 2 doorbell. And I didn't understand that it came with what is it called? MAP pricing, which stands for minimum advertised price. So it was selling for I think it was $199, and that was the MAP price. So there were literally 52 sellers on the listing. I'll never forget that number, 52. So I'm like, well, shoot, let me win the buy box. Let me just drop it by 10 cents. And I was selling it at $198.90, just 10 cents. And then boom, instantly I started getting all of these sales. I'm like, yes, this is great. And then the sales stopped. And I go and check my account, and it says, well, your account has been deactivated. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? So I reached out to Amazon, and it was like, well, you violated our MAP pricing policy, which means that this particular item cannot sell below a certain threshold. And even though I was 10 cents under that threshold, they shut my account down. And once I learned from that, to some people, that's the death sentence for their account. They won't even allow your account to be set back up. But because I did have, some history with selling on Amazon, that was about my 6th month selling at that time. They had me sign some paperwork. I don't know if they're still doing this now, but they had me sign off something saying that I won't violate it again. And then boom, they brought my account back up. Another time I got shut down because my order defect rate was, higher than what it was supposed to be. It was greater than 1%. So yeah, that was some of the bad. Now I will say about 95% of the time that I was selling on Amazon, it was all good. The other 5% was bad, which of course, the good outweighed the bad. But when the bad is there, that 5% feels like 5,000%. Because you're like, oh my God, all of my money that I was making, I can't make it anymore selling on Amazon. So, and it's just really knowing what to do in certain situations. I felt like I've made every mistake. So now I'm able to coach people to not make those mistakes since, I've had my account shut down at least 3 different times.
Yeah. I mean, that you mentioned the death sentence. I mean, that goes into the mindset of being an entrepreneur. You've got to be prepared for things to not go well, and then you just fight through it because there's always a way. There's always a way to keep plugging on. But most, I would say, a high majority of people would be like, "I'm done. This doesn't work.
Yeah,
I'm out." And then you miss it. And then that's why you have all these people that succeed, is because they are able to get in front of a hurdle and then get over it. It goes back to your buddy with is it NLP?
NLP, correct.
Yeah, it's creating that. The mindset that, look, I can do this. There's a stumbling block, but that's a good thing. because everyone else is falling off at this stumbling block. And if I can persevere, then I'm going to still be standing at the end. And that's where success lives on the other side of that hurdle.
Correct.
So it's huge. It's really, really important. It's also because I wanted to go back to what you're talking about your kids. I think it's so important for your kids to see that. Yeah. This has happened in our family. I mean, I was, obviously have had corporate jobs, still have one. And also I'm an entrepreneur. But our kids, my wife's an artist, so she's an entrepreneur, but our kids, they think completely different than I did when I was growing up. Yeah. Because they're living it. I mean, they talk about, everything they talk about is like some entrepreneurial journey that they're going to go on. And I'm like, this is cool. This is like the best gift that we could give our kids, better than anything else, is to know that, to watch, their parents succeed, watch them hustle, watch them work at 10 o'clock at night, why is dad in the basement at midnight, packaging stuff up and labeling it? That's fun. I really love that part of this business, that it allows for that. It allows to pass that on to the next generation.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing that I've also noticed, especially with my middle son, because I also coach youth sports, football and track, and I'm the one parent that is the community coach is there. So a lot of the kids are like, well, why is your dad, even able to have time and come and coach us? Because, their parents, the majority of them have a 9 to 5. And, I'm able to, incorporate into these children's mindset that, hey, I'm my own business owner. I was talking to a group of them yesterday. I was like, look, the only reason why I'm here is because I create my own schedule. And that's something that hit home to them. I was like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I don't have to go and work for somebody else? Because that's the only thing that they have been taught for generations and generations and generations. But to now see it, somebody in their community that is doing it the right way and having the freedom and the liberty to be able to go and pour into somebody else. Because I discovered my passion was coaching, and not just through Amazon, but through, pouring into, our youth with youth sports, helping them build their mindset. Because I'm like, hey, look, if you quit on this, you can become a husband or a wife and quit on your family, and, and pour that into them constantly. So that's the beauty and in having the freedom. I love to tell anybody from being your own boss. So yes, sir.
I love that. That. Let's talk about your coaching, because it feels like it's going to be really good. When you get a student, what's and we'll just say we're brand new. I'm interested in Amazon. Walk me through the steps.
Okay, so the majority of the students that I receive know nothing about Amazon, which to me is great, because now I don't have to reprogram them from a lot of bad habits. So what I do is I would help them set up their account. I show them what they would need in order to run the business, like an LLC, making sure you have a DUNS number so that you can build business credit, having the sales and use tax exemption so that you can purchase your inventory without paying any taxes on it. And then the main thing is getting them ungated, before they start making any sales, so that they can start selling a lot of the, top brands and a lot of the fast moving products. Now, what would happen is a lot of my new students, because, it's not normal for them to come out making some 10 to 20 and 30 grand their very first month. It's shocking to Amazon. So Amazon, and this is both good and bad, for about half of my students, they will shut their account down for a day and say, hey, I need invoices on, these top products that you're selling, because this is not normal. Most people don't start selling, 10,000 to 20,000 their first month out of the gate. What are you doing? Let me make sure your stuff is authentic. That's the main thing that I do, which is teach them, the foundation of, okay, what it takes to run a business, how to actually find products, doing it through retail arbitrage first, and then wholesale second. And for those who even dare to step out into private label, I'll push them into private label afterwards. That's the main thing, which, taking them through the process and those steps. but it's also because I've been thoroughly trained in NLP, making sure that they have the proper mindset, the proper business mindset on, hey, you know what, it's going to be some rough roads, but keep riding the roller coaster. You know, eventually you're going to hit that slope or that incline that is going to help your business get to where you want to be and help your family get to where you want to see them be financially.
I like that you talk about the mindset. I'm like, I don't know, like I love taking courses for some reason. Like if I
sign up for every webinar, I sign up for, I sign up for everything.
Yeah. I mean, even stuff I'm not pursuing. Like I've taken a bunch of like real estate courses and crypto courses and a lot of like the really good courses, they don't even get into teaching you anything until you go through like 5 or 6 modules on mindset. And when I first started taking courses, I'm like, skip. I'm like, just tell me how to do the dang crypto. That's what I bought this course for. Don't give me all this. And the more I started going into those, I mean, every time, every different perspective on that mindset, I'm like, you know what? That part is like almost more important than the course part.
Correct.
Because if you don't have it, you're not going to implement any of the things that you teach moving forward. So that's really powerful. So your coaching, is it laid out where there's like video training that they follow, but they also get to talk to you, they work with you? How long is that relationship? What does that look like?
So excellent question. So up until this month, I was doing in-person training for 3 straight days. I would fly to people's homes, whatever city they lived in which I've gone as far west as, the Bay Area, California, and as far north as New York and everything in between. And I even have some students in Florida. So I was training them in person for 3 straight days. And then I would give them support afterwards, which depending on which package program they got involved in, it could be either 6 months or 12 months of support. So in other words, if they have any kind of questions, making sure that they're meeting certain parameters that they have set for themselves financially. That's what was available at that time, which I still do offer that. But because, like I said, I'm so busy now with coaching, youth sports, and me and my wife, we also own and operate a nonprofit organization as well, which we have a contract with the Braves Stadium. Go Braves with champs. Let's go. But anyway, leave that alone. So we have to be at almost every home game because we do fundraisers for our nonprofit there. So what I decided to do was to put my training online so that for those who, are not able to pay, and I'm just going to call it for what it is, the 5 figures for flying me out to, their home and teaching them in person, they can now get it through online training modules and grow their business at a self-paced rate on themselves. So yeah. So that is available, in which the link is, in my bio. If you go to Instagram under Coach Eric Neal, you'll see the link to purchase the online training.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on this because I think this is another topic that's interesting. Is, a lot of people they initially balk at what they would consider an expensive, coaching package. But when you're talking about like month 2 making like $20,000, $25,000 on Amazon, and it's just going to keep going up, that's a drop in the bucket. That is a monster investment. And I always have this conversation with people. I mean, like these 2 little signs up here that are basically worthless for me. That was like 150 grand.
Yeah.
It's like, and I learned what the word profit and revenue means. It's like there was no applicable course in there on what it's actually like to run a business, or what it's like to live in the weeds of like, okay, how am I tracking my inventory? How am I, what the heck does repricing mean? What, it's like there's nothing, not one thing that was actually really applicable, other than I could have read a a glossary of financial terms in one day and been proficient. So when you're talking about bringing a mentor in who's going to give you full support, a crash course, like every mistake that you laid out is like, guess what? That's going to save you 15 grand.
Yeah.
Just by knowing ahead of time that you not to make that mistake. So as long as the coaching program and the person is genuine and like you are and really willing to help, people are so scared to drop that money, and it's like,
right.
I mean, it could change your life big time.
Correct. Yeah. And the main thing that I've learned through that is people have to see other people doing it first in order for them to step out on it. And that's the reason why I post so much of my student success, even above my own, because if they can see my students being successful at it and, and not just doing it for a month, but, continued success. I have a cousin of mine who I trained in October of 2020. He is now done like right at almost $500,000 since then, selling on Amazon. And before he was driving for Uber, but he trusted his cousin, and I didn't do it for free because I wanted to make sure. I'm like, hey, you need to invest this, because if I would have did it for free, he probably wouldn't have saw the value and just put it on the back burner. So I was like, look, I'll give you a discount because you're my family, but nonetheless, invest into yourself. Now you feel more obligated to make sure this thing happens. So that's the reason why, yes, I do charge what I charge, because I want to know, okay, who's serious, who's not. And for those people who are serious, they get involved. Yes, I'll fly directly to them, train them in the privacy of their own home if they want me to come to their home. And they start making money literally their first month. And the mass majority of my students, and this is just not just a testimony of me, but just for them taking action and following the coaching plan, they make back their initial investment within a month or two. So, yeah.
What, just to get like wrap it up a little bit, what's a day in the life of Eric Neal look like? What is your day to day? What are you doing? Because you're running your business, you're coaching, you're doing all. You've got a charity that you run. What does your life look like?
Other than sometimes complete chaos, here's how it looks. Well, on a good day, on a normal day, I would wake up early. That's the main thing that I had to learn that I have to do, which preparation happens the night before. I need to go to bed early, in which early to me is about like 10:30-ish, and waking up about 6 o'clock. I get up, I pray, because I want to make sure, I have myself, my mind is clear. I'm right with God, hearing and listen to what he's telling me to do. Get the kids ready to go to school, drop off, some of them at school, immediately go and work out because, hey, you got to stay healthy, got to look good. I mean, hey, I got to match my wife. So, and then from there, I'll come home, start fulfilling some orders. And in between fulfilling those orders, I may have a coaching call or two with an existing student who is, still a part of the coaching plan before they graduate. And then I'll probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock have practice, with coaching, some youth sports. Or since I don't coach baseball, taking my youngest son who decided, hey, I don't want to, do what dad did. I want to play baseball. Okay, I don't know baseball. So I got to take him and watch his practice, in which I get home about some 6:30. And sometimes dinner is ready. Sometimes we have to get dinner ready. And make sure that the kids are all fed, homework is done, and in bed by 9:30. And then me and my wife, we have our own time, sometimes up until 10:30, 11 o'clock on a normal day. Now, sometimes the chaos will have me up until like last night, 12 o'clock, because my wife wanted to make a certain dish, and she likes the way I chop all of the vegetables and everything that goes into it. So, yeah. And, and chopping, I don't know if you ever had to mince ginger before, like raw ginger. Yeah, it's not fun and it's timely. So she had me mince up a lot of that yesterday for a dish that she was making.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Yeah. So that's a normal day, and that's not
That's
even
the beauty, right? Like you could do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want.
And that's the main thing. It's the freedom to be able to be fluid and to still create the schedule and the time that I want. So that's the main thing that I do appreciate about the lifestyle that I was able to receive from selling on Amazon, which, if I can say this, selling on Amazon has allowed me and my wife now to have 11 different streams of income. We have launched a trucking company, a clothing company, of course, the nonprofit, which I talked about, a real estate company that has 2 different branches, and the list goes on. And that's the main thing. It's pretty much our foundation source for what we do. And here we are now with, and I've counted them up, 11 different streams of income from selling on Amazon and using a lot of those profits to launch other businesses.
Part 2, 11 sources of income.
Yeah,
Coach Eric Neal.
That will be part 2. We'll get you back on here for sure. I know a lot of people are listening, and they're just trying to figure out which way they want to go, what to do. They're listening because maybe they're in a job right now that they don't like, or it's not fulfilling, or they're not valued, or any of the reasons why people start looking for other ways to make other income. And they're interested, and your story resonates with them. They really want to have that life, and they want to work with you. So let everybody know where they can go to start working with you as a coach, mentor, etc.
Perfect. Yeah. So the best way to connect with me is Coach Eric, and that's Eric with a C, ERIC, and then Neal, NEAL, on Instagram. You can send me a friend request, inbox me. We can set up a call. The link is also in the bio. If you just wanted to purchase the online training course, in which I'm doing pre-orders now, and those training courses are set to launch in about another week or so. And I'm actually offering a 50% discount for those who are taking action now. So my normal training course, and I don't mind saying it, the entry level is right at $14,000 for the one-on-one mentorship that I was doing before. But now with the online training modules, I'm able to get that down to $2,000. And now with it being 50% off, you can purchase the pre-order right at $999 up until next week, when we have our official launch of the online training modules that you guys can take action on. Yep, that's the best way to get in contact with me. Or on Facebook, you can also look up Eric Neal Atlanta, and I should pop right up. Or, Eric Neal, Georgia Southern, the real GSU, not Georgia State. That's a Georgia thing. So yeah, the real GSU, Georgia Southern. And you can also connect and find me that way as well. And also on LinkedIn, send me a request on LinkedIn, and I'll make sure that I, respond accordingly.
Well, I encourage everyone to do that. If you're interested and you want to explore what this would look like, make sure you contact Eric at all those places. We'll have all those links in the description for this, so you can just shoot him a message and get the conversation started. But Eric, thanks so much for joining us. We love hearing stories like this. If that's not inspiring to anybody listening, I don't know what is. I mean,
you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate you, having me on.
Absolutely.
And thank you for what you guys do as well. Like, this is huge. So this says a lot about you guys' character.
It's a lot of fun. We love talking to everybody in the industry and trying to encourage people to get involved, to take action, to get started. All you got to do is take that first step and go from there. So, well, again, thanks for joining us. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. It's always fun listening to these stories. If you like content like this, if you like hearing from experts in the e-commerce space, great tips and tactics and strategies, and great stories and personal journeys, we go live almost every day. So make sure you subscribe to our podcast. You can find that on all the podcast platforms. You can also see all of these conversations that we have live streamed on Solozo's social media channels. So Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you can go there and see all the conversations we've had in the past. You can also turn on notifications so you get a message when we have a new guest on. Like I said, we do that almost every day. Additionally, if you're currently selling on Amazon, if you're either wholesale or private label, and advertising is an area where you feel like you need help, we'd love to help you at Solozo. Solozo is a platform that can optimize and automate your PPC advertising towards whatever your goals are. So you can go to Solozo.com right now. You can book a demo and talk to either Chris or myself. We'll walk you through the platform, chat about Amazon, show you how Solozo can help you with your advertising. So Solozo.com, book a demo today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks Eric for joining us. We'll see everybody next time. Have a